Greetings and welcome everyone to my reading with you today. I'm Joy and Flo. Today's general reading will be based around the energy of what do you need to know before you make your next move. It is a general reading. I'm only using the one pile. I have several decks that I'll introduce as I go, and I'll introduce the crystals in a moment. So this may apply to you, this may not apply to you today, but maybe when it finds you later, and it may not apply to you at all. It may actually be brought into your awareness so that you can share it with someone who needs it. So feel free to share this at any time. So today we're going to be using the Wandering Star Tarot. It's a deck by Kat Pierce. It's beautiful. The cards are very hefty. They feel very good in your hands. It's a new deck for me and I haven't been able to put it down, so I hope you enjoy that. I'm also going to introduce our crystals. So we have the Rough Zebra Jasper here, and this is really meant to bring us in some balance, some motivation, help with grounding and harmony. This is a very beautiful piece, very powerful crystal. And maybe the only purpose for you watching this video today is to know that you need some of this in your life. So without further ado, we'll get on to the next crystal. I just wanted to give you a good look here. Okay. Next, we have our Rough Tiger's Eye. It's meant to help you bring in some courage, confidence, and mental clarity. And actually both of these crystals help bring emotional balance in some way and some clarity in some way. So we want to have this here with us to bring into this reading today and to help you bring in what you need in this next phase. Put that there so you can see that. There we go. So let's get into it here. I'm going to start with a shuffle. These were shuffled previously, but let's give them a really good shuffle here. Okay, so what do you need to know before you make your next move? That one flew out of my hands. This. We'll come back to that later. That's enough for now. We're going to shuffle some for towards the end of the reading. This is the Trust Your Vibes deck by Sonia Choquette. It's also a beautiful deck. That's enough for now. I have the Everyday Witch Oracle, Deborah Blake. And When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck. I'll link all of these in the description. Oh, you have two. Okay, that's enough from there. I have some other decks I may choose to use throughout this if we need some clarification. However, for now, I will just leave it at that, or I could go all day. Okay, these are for the end for confirmation. These are for the middle. These are for the beginning. I'm just going to put these aside over here. Okay, so what do you need to know before you make your next move? We have the Two of Pentacles here with harmony, balance, beautiful artwork. Okay, so Two Pentacles. So already you know you're going to need some balance. Oh, we have the Two of Cups, another two. partnership, harmony, and peace. The Queen of Wands, creativity, leader, focus. What have you been up to? Justice, balance, equality. Wow. Lots of calls for balance here today. Oh, and we have the Page of Pentacles, talent, skill, money. It did show up in reverse. Unless I intuitively feel it's supposed to be in reverse, I just take them how they are. If you have a different interpretation, by all means, you can take that into account. But for the purpose of this reading and this general reading, unless something flips upside down and then later it really feels like it needs to be interpreted in reverse, I'll do that. But for the purpose of this, everything just as it is. Okay. Balance and harmony, partnership, harmony, peace, focus, balance. Lots and lots of calls for balance here. It feels almost like you've been doing a balancing act and feeling like you're failing at doing that balancing act. It feels like you are aspiring for this and don't feel like you're achieving it, but you're not looking at yourself closely enough. You're not looking at yourself with enough focus here. There's literally the word focus. You have very much fought to have equal balance in your life, and it's been a long road, and it does feel like you've been failing at it, but you haven't. I'm going to put that page aside for now. We'll come back to that. So 2 and 2, Queen of Wands and Justice, 11. Very pardon me, balance, balance, balance. I wonder what this is about, other than balance, obviously. Seek the truth. Okay, 26. Seek the truth. Pay attention. And dance in the fire. Okay. You feel like you've been out of the frying pan into the fire. I feel like this has really got a lot to do with work, your vocation, not necessarily the only thing that makes you money, but the thing you would quantify as your career or what your main working purpose is, which is not to be confused with your life purpose, just to be clear. So it feels like you feel you've been thrown out of the frying pan into the fire is what I get from here. And you're being called to dance in the fire. You're thriving in many ways that you are not able to see yet. You haven't really been paying attention to how you've been thriving. You haven't been paying enough attention. This to me is pay attention to yourself and what your intuition is telling you. So dance in that fire. Know that balance is here. It's already in the works. It's already in your field. You just have to accept it. You have to accept that there is going to be balance. You're being given that gift of balance here, whether you want it or not. I mean, that's the message, whether you want it or not, whether it's something that you want it the way that you're going to receive it or not. You've asked for balance. You've asked for harmony repeatedly. This is what you've been asking for. So before you make your next move, you need to understand that balance and harmony is already in your field. It's already here for you, and you just need to pay attention. You need to seek the truth in the situations that you're questioning, and including for yourself, seek that personal truth, and you can really call this balance in, this equality, this harmony and this peace that you've been asking for, it's already here. It's here, it's here, it's here. So call that in. You're going to be able to rely, you have to be able to trust that peace and that harmony and that balance. And I feel like maybe that's where you're not trusting it. You're not trusting that it's yours, that it's here to stay. This is a very, very permanent, very stable. If you had two pillars, holding something up instead of one, that's a strong foundation. You have two, that foundation is already here. It's already coming. You have to bring it into your awareness and your focus, and not at the expense of your creativity. Okay, what else? What else do we need to know here? Actually, I should move these so you can see them all in the field here. There, that's a little better. Okay. That one wants to come out. What else can we tell these dear ones? I feel that one and that one. Really? Hanged Man. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. These I feel want to be here. We'll put that aside for now. Thank you. Okay. So Hanged Man. Yeah, it's really coming back to shifting your perspective, because what you're asking for is already here. If you are not seeing it and you're not aware, and you've been asking and asking, and then you're not purposing that for yourself, you are going to be forced to change your perspective. But fear not. It's the waiting that you've been feeling, this rebirth, this sacrifice that you felt that you've made through some reflection, through some shifting in your perspective. You're really going to be able to truly see that balance coming into your field here. So I want to make sure you can see all of them. Maybe we'll just shift these back. Okay. 10 of Swords. Yes, endings, final, the closure of this painful cycle of waiting, this painful cycle of sacrifice that you've been putting yourself through here, literally putting yourself through here. It's coming to an end, coming up next. And that's what you need to be aware of. It's like you need to keep that bigger picture in mind, that end state, that goal. You need to keep that in your vision, in your purview. If you lose sight of that, you're going to be forced to shift your perspective. Okay. Ten of Wands, again, so burden, demands, overload. Whatever you've been working at, and the fire, look, the fire. Okay, so the flames that out of the frying pan into the fire, you really do feel like you've been burdened with these demands, overloaded with these demands, and you're not happy about it. It's not a place where you feel like you're thriving anymore. It feels almost as if you've previously been able to believe you're dancing in the fire, but really you're bopping your head and you're trying to keep your head above the flames. So now you're being called to recognize that. Let those burdens burn away. Dancing your fire. Own your fire is the message I get here. And actually, you can still see it. And the Hermit. So healing, solitude, inner work. The Hermit calls us to hold our light proudly. It asks us to take some peace in the solitude and doing the inner work, which you've been doing. It feels like you've been banging your head against a wall. You've been tied down by these burdens. It's time to stop, pay attention, seek your own truth, and shine your light. And the other piece of the Hermit is shining that light, in shining your light, in doing that work and focusing on your authentic self, on your needs. You're going to be shining that light and setting that example for the other people around you, which is really beautiful because people need to be inspired. And they are inspired by you. They are inspired by you. Queen of Wands energy here. I'm going to use the small version of the Light Seers Tarot actually to ask for some confirmation cards. So is this situation something that is fully coming to conclusion? I believe it is, but we'll just ask for some confirmation. Oh, you want to come too. Six of Cups. And the Queen of Pentacles. Two queens here today. The Ace of Cups. Okay. And the Three of Wands. Yes, you are ready to move. You're ready to move from this energy. You're ready to move out of this burden, this burning burden. Again with the, oh, look at that. The fire all ended up together. Excellent. Okay, so and you've got a lot of Wands energy here. So it really is, you're burning down this burden of what it's meant to be successful. And you are definitely ready to move forward. You have the ability to move forward. You have a mechanism, a vehicle to drive you forward in this ocean. You have the ability to, you know, hold your light for others to see, like the Hermit here. You do have that ability. The Six of Cups is, I'm getting, stop reminiscing about what could have been if you had only been able to hold out longer in the fire, if you'd only been able to do more of this. This is being burned down because it's no longer for your highest and best good. You're being moved out of this burdensome, painful, not responsibility, but this, it's something that you're using your, oh, I see. This was supposed to show up in reverse. Put this down for a second. So your talent, your skill, your money, you've been using that, not misusing. You've been using it or believing that this is how you need to use your talent and your skill is through this field, this vocation, or this main raison d'etre. You have been believing that is how, the only way you're going to use that talent and skill, but really that's the very watered down version of how to use that. So you're called here now you're called to flip it, to really harness your talent and your skill more so for your highest and best good, for your purpose, not for your vocation, but for your inner purpose, where you feel that is what you're meant to be doing. And I don't feel like this is the first time you've heard this. So I'm actually being yelled at a little right now by whoever this is meant for. So stop dwelling on what could have been, on what was. That is in the past. You've been successful. You've had a lot of successes. That doesn't define who you are. That doesn't define who you are. That fire doesn't define who you are. That's over here. That's not what's to come anymore. You step into your power here. You have this in your hands. You have the ability to bring everything that you're asking for into your reality, which you have, as we said in the beginning of the reading, that balance, that harmony, that peace, partnership, that's already here. You haven't been able to fully see it because you haven't been using your gifts and your talents and your skills in a way that's filling your cup. That's filling your cup. So it's time to switch that. It's time to change your perspective with the Hanged Man. It's time to change your perspective on what it feels to succeed. Change your perspective on what success looks like. Change your perspective on what brings energy into your life, into your field, what fills you up, not what you have to sacrifice. Okay. Queen of Pentacles here. Again, that energy is already in your field, but you need to claim it. You need to claim it. You haven't been claiming it. Belief. Yep. I just cut the deck. I felt called to cut the deck. The Fool. So the purity, potential, the risk. You should be taking that risk on yourself and just believing. You take that leap of faith in yourself and you can't go wrong. You take that leap of yourself with your pure intentions for your highest and best good and for fulfilling your soul purpose. Not soul as in only, soul as in your spirit purpose, what brings you light and that feeling of fulfillment into your life. You cannot go wrong by making small or big steps to do that. So that's your reminder. That's your nudge, your kick in the butt. Okay, that goes over all of these. So how do you get there other than what's already been discussed here and what's already been shared? Seasonal harvest. When is the last time that you enjoyed the fruits of your labor? That is the message here. Enjoy the fruits of your labor in every season. Not every season is a blooming or a harvest season. Sometimes it's a rest season. If you are harvesting when you need to harvest, if you are enjoying the fruits of your labor, if you are reaping and sowing the rewards of what you've planted, that is what's going to give you that sense of self-awareness, self-fulfillment and satisfaction. That pride, that self-pride. And it will sustain you throughout the other seasons that are a resting or a slower season. You haven't been harvesting. So it's time for you to harvest. It's ironically at the time of this reading, it's harvest season. So just keep that in mind, that you need to make sure you do your seasonal harvest for yourself personally, whether you literally have a garden that has medicines and food and nourishment for you, or whether that's the fruits of your actual labor in your vocation, in your relationships. You've invested all of this time and energy and yourself into these endeavors. And it's time to reap some of those rewards. It's time to do that. And you already have that balance, that harmony in your field. So it's not going to be a struggle. You just have to make that decision to move forward, to go and literally pick your crop. It's terms I'm not familiar with. Transformation and change. You have to accept your transformation and change. It's not always going to be gentle. It's not always going to be light. But again, we have that balance of your shadow and your light. That duality here. So in order to move forward, this is what you need to be aware of, is transformation and change are a part of life and they're necessary. So don't be holding on to what was. Don't be dwelling or mourning what you feel is burning away here. Don't be mourning that. This transformation and change is necessary. You're powerful. You've manifested this yourself. You just have to claim it. You just have to do your harvest, okay? And final guidance here from the When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck, Insight. Okay, and Worthy. Okay, yes. These make sense now. These make a lot more sense now. So we have pay attention and seek the truth. That's your insight. And this is connected to your self-worth. All of this is connected to your self-worth. That is what is holding you back, and that is what you need to know for your transformation and change coming up, that is what you need to know before you make your next move, is you will be successful so long as you believe that you are worthy and that you seek your own personal insight instead of perhaps the outside influences, trusting that intuition, paying attention to your inner truth, and bringing your self-worth into your awareness repeatedly every day, even if you're not really feeling it, but bringing in that belief that you are worthy, that you have the ability to pay attention to the insight that is already here for you, that you are powerful. You are powerful. You are worthy. And you have manifested all of this that is already waiting for you. You just need to claim it. You need to harvest it. Wow. Well, I am not sure if there's anything else that you want to know at this point, but I will say this is a beautiful reading. I'm very grateful to have been able to sit here with you and share this today and share these channeled messages through using some intuitive tarot and these oracle decks. And I wish you all the best with your journey here. You really do. You're almost there. You're really at the end of that painful cycle. You're going to have some closure here, but you have to be open and you have to believe that you're worthy of that closure and that you're worthy of all the transformation and change that comes next. Even when it feels hard, you've brought this forward for yourself. So it's really time to believe that you're here for this. Believe that this is here for you. So thank you very much. I hope this helped, and I appreciate you showing up for yourself today and taking some time to seek some insight and seek some guidance. I'm happy to have been able to share this with you. If this video helped you, please give it a like. You can subscribe, follow me on other forms of social media. I will be posting these videos quite regularly. I have a mindfulness minute series as well that helps you bring some mindfulness back into your life and build your mindfulness practice. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful season. It is going to be great if you can just allow it to be and believe that you deserve it. Until next time, with love, Joy.